Remember that I hinted that we've got a project coming up that will hopefully go along with Stabilizer Lab that we're doing with my girlfriend's quilt shop? Well, it's present day. Hey everyone, Cristin here, and we are working with my girlfriend's quilt shop for the Stabilizer Lab. If you haven't seen that video, look in the video description under this video, and there is a link to that fun, silly video that I made to promote the Stabilizer Lab for my girlfriend's quilt shop. So I hope you'll join me for that. And in the meantime, so remember I gave a little teaser that we are going to work on a project together along with my girlfriend's quilt shop, along with Stabilizer Lab. So for our group, for Cristin Creates, we're going to also do a little side project. Since my girlfriend's quilt shop is a class, I wanted to work it along with the project. So we have a project, and that means that today is present day. So I just got this. It's from my girlfriend's quilt shop. I haven't opened it yet because I know you guys like seeing the goodies as well, but I have an idea of what it is. We'll see. But so I just think it would be really fun for us to do a project with my girlfriend's quilt shop. Ooh. So let's see. Looks like there are two things in here. And so a lot of people have been asking me to do this one certain thing, and honestly, I don't know anything about it. So we're going to learn it together. And it is clear blue tiles. I know you guys have been really wanting to do these, and now I have them too. And so I want you to go to the link in the video description, and I'll put it here too. I want you to order these, if you haven't already, from my girlfriend's quilt shop so that we can do them together. As soon as we finish our work on Candy Cane Lane, we will start on the clear blue tiles. So let's see what's in here. Ooh, look at that. Oh my gosh. You know, honestly, these are worth it, even if it's just to get the quilting designs, because they are exclusive quilting designs that are specific to the clear blue tile set. So if you look on the Kimberbell website under the products and then you go to the quilting designs, they updated their quilting designs to show the ones that are in blue can all be used with the clear blue tiles. So you can use all of those, and there's some exclusive ones that are on this USB stick. So that's about all I know so far about clear blue tiles, but I wanted them just for the quilting designs because I love the quilting designs. But my plan is, I thought it would be really fun for us to do one of these placemats together. And there's, you know, obviously you can switch it up however you want based on the fabric choices that you use. But it's almost Christmas, so we can make a Christmassy one or a fall one, and we can figure out how to use the clear blue tiles together. Oh my gosh, they're gonna be so fun. I'm so curious about these. I've heard so many good things and have received so many messages. Are you gonna do clear blue tiles? Are you gonna do clear blue tiles? So let's do them. I know everybody's very anxious. So let's see what else you get in here. Ooh, look at this. The slap bands. So when we did that live video together and we all made a shirt, people were telling me that, because I use blue tape to hold down the excess material of my shirt, and they're like, oh, you got to get those slap bands. Well, I don't have those slap bands. I have some of the Kimberbell stabilizers, but I don't have the slap bands. And so people were telling me, well, if you get the clear blue tiles, there's some in the clear blue tiles. So now I have a slap band. Oh, those are pretty neat. Wow. And they say clear blue tiles on them. So people were telling me that you can use this to hold back the excess material. You can use these slap bands that are in your clear blue tiles kit, and obviously they're for holding back the excess material on like a quilt or something that you're working on with the clear blue tiles, but you can also use them to do a shirt. So we have this cute little one. It's the 4x4 of the clear blue tiles, and then two of the pens. I assume that they are disappearing ink pens. And then we have a lot of the clear blue tiles in all the sizes that we need to be able to do our quilting in the hoop without, so you can do that. There's a few things. So on our Candy Cane Lane that we're working on right now, you can use that to do the background quilting, especially like if you have a 5x7 hoop. Either way though, you can do it all of your quilting using your clear blue tiles first and then add the embroidery on after. Or if you have a basic quilt, like a quilt top waiting to be quilted, you could use your clear blue tiles to do that easily, especially with those slat bands and the markers to get everything just right. And you could really mix it up, because if you know me, you know I like mixing it up. I'm doing different quilting on each of my blocks, so you could easily do like little scenes, like I'm going to use this quilting design or that quilting design and this part, that part, and all because we've got all the different sizes of the clear blue tiles. Look, there's even a tiny little one. Oh my gosh, can you see that? Let me take that one out. Oh, this is going to be so fun. Oh, I'm pretty excited about these. So I honestly know very little about them so far, but I am going to figure it out, and we're going to do them together, and we'll make a project together, maybe even a couple of projects together. So those that have signed up for the Stabilizer Lab, like I mentioned, you get from My Girlfriend's Quilt Shop every month that you're in the Stabilizer Lab, which runs for 4 months. So every month you get 3 designs, and you get 3 sizes of those 3 designs, and they're 3 exclusive designs. I don't know what they are. I don't know anything about it. This is my first time joining the Stabilizer Lab, but I bet we can use the clear blue tiles on some of them. That would be really fun. I don't know yet. We'll see. But as soon as you register, sign up for the Stabilizer Lab, you get included into this exclusive Facebook group that's just for the Stabilizer Lab people. And then you get all these classes, and I'm pretty excited. So I've already gotten into the group. I haven't done anything in the group yet. We just started all this, but the signups end November 15th. So you want to get signed up for the Stabilizer Lab as soon as you can, and then join me for some clear blue tiles fun. So there's one other thing in here. So we have that clear blue tiles essential set. So you need this. Oh, there's 372 files on here. Oh my goodness. So you need that essential set no matter what, but there's also an expansion set. Ooh, fun. And you get more pens and a bunch more clear blue tiles. And this is for those of us that have a larger hoop. I don't have the largest. The largest is that Luminaire and Solaris. They have the largest. I think it's like 10.5 by 16.5, something like that. My largest is 9 by 14. And so this will work for those larger hoops. And like I said, you get extra of the tiles, extra of the markers, and you have to have the essential set to be able to use this expansion set though. This is just for the larger hoop sizes, because the first one, I think it goes up to 8-inch something. I'm not absolutely sure yet, but oh, look at all. Oh my gosh, you get a whole bunch more. Wow, I didn't expect that. Look at that. Oh, fun, fun, fun. Oh my goodness. This is going to be really fun and really interesting. I love learning new things. So this will be really fun to see how this all works. So clear blue tiles, grab it from My Girlfriend's Quilt Shop. And guess what? I have a coupon code for you. So it's the same coupon code that you're going to use for Stabilizer Lab, and it is Cristin Creates 10. I don't know if it has to be all in caps. They sent it to me in caps. You'll see more in the video description, but Cristin Creates 10, and you'll get 10% off on the clear blue tiles. That's a big savings, because this will be really great. So let's go ahead and start on ordering your supplies, because we're going to finish Candy Cane Lane and then right away jump into clear blue tiles. So go ahead and order your supplies from My Girlfriend's Quilt Shop, and let's get started and ready to play. Thank you, My Girlfriend's Quilt Shop. I appreciate it. And thank you for offering a discount code to our Cristin Creates group. Cristin Creates 10. Let's get playing. Are you ready to work on the CBTs? Do you know what CBTs are? Well, let's do it. Hey everyone, so as we prepare to work on our CBTs, you know those clear blue tiles? Did you know CBT also stands for computer-based training? Just a little tidbit of information. Anyway, we are going to start on our clear blue tiles. If you haven't already ordered these, our sponsor is My Girlfriend's Quilt Shop, and our coupon code is Cristin Creates 10. There's no space in the middle. I believe it's just Cristin Creates 10, and they give it to me in caps, so you might try caps. And in the video description underneath this video, there is a link directly to the tiles and the fabric kit if you choose to get a fabric kit. So what I wanted to talk to you about today is the fabric kit. So as we prepare for our project, we're going to wait like a week or two just to give time for everybody to get all of their supplies. We've been planning this one for right after Canacane Lane, but then I asked My Girlfriend's Quilt Shop if they would prepare a fabric kit for us, and so now everybody wants the fabric kit, and so we're just going to give them a little time to get those in. So on the fabric, I wanted to mention is on the USB stick that is included in the essential set. You have to have the essential set to be able to do this project with us. We're doing the table runner, and the design comes on that USB stick that's in the CBT essential set. You can also get the expansion set. That's for those with a bigger hoop, but there's no design files on this. They're all on the essential set, so you have to get this essential set either way. All right, so on that USB, there is this list of the fabrics that we need and what sizes they are. And there's one other thing that I want to point out real quick. There's an error on this materials needed. It says that we need fusible peel and stick. We don't. We just need project batting. That's it. No other stabilizer. Actually, I'm sorry, wrong about that. We need the ultralight mesh cutaway stabilizer. That's for our hoop. So in our hoop, when we're putting these, let me grab it, sorry. So this is the ultralight mesh cutaway. So we do want this for in our hoop, but then when we do our quilting, all we need is the project batting. We don't need this peel and stick. That was an error. So that's one thing. The other thing is the fabrics. So you can use fabrics from your stash. You can use fabrics that are the Kimberbell basics. So that's what they show. When you're looking at the instructions, they show winter, fall, Halloween. There's a few different ones, and they use Kimberbell basics for all that. So if you have Kimberbell basics, you can use that. Or, like I said, I asked My Girlfriend's Quilt Shop if they would create a fabric kit for us, and they made two. They made a Christmas one with really cute fabrics. I was really surprised actually when I saw that there's even Jingle All the Way fabrics in that. So that's super cute if you want to make a Christmas one. If you want to make a winter one, because we are going to start either pretty close to Christmas or possibly even after Christmas, depending on when everyone's ready. But winter, you know, we could use up until the spring. So the winter kit keeps selling out, so just know that we're working on it, or I've been in contact with My Girlfriend's Quilt Shop whenever it sells out, and they're jumping on it. They're doing such a great job taking care of us. So don't stress if it's sold out. Just give it a minute. They're working on it. So when you get the kit, if you get the winter one, that's what I got. So the winter kit has all these blues and some white and some red. So on this one, I received it and I was pretty confused. I have to say, this is my first time getting a fabric kit from My Girlfriend's Quilt Shop, and it just comes in this really cute packaging and tells you what it is. So I was confused as far as, well, what goes with what? Which one do I use for this? Which one do I use for that? And it doesn't say in the fabric kit, and it also doesn't say on the directions from Kimberbell. And that makes sense because you can use whatever you want, right? So what I figured out, and it took me a minute to figure it out, so I thought I'd share this. So when you get your fabric kit, if you get a fabric kit from My Girlfriend's Quilt Shop, they are our sponsor. So if you get any of the products for this project, please use our sponsor. And so on this, you just get the fabric. But what I did is I went through and I measured each one, and I wrote a little note, like it says half yard, and then I just measured each one from the start. Just measure each one. Well, you won't have to if you're using the same one as me. I already did this for you. But if you're using another one and you get just this pack of fabrics, it's really easy to figure out. It took me a minute, but it is easy. So I started by measuring each one, and I used my Kimberbell tape to write on there what size it is. And then when you go to your Kimberbell directions, this is the one that comes in the directions. I changed mine up a little bit, and I will share this as well. So when you look through the Kimberbell directions, you need 11 different fabrics. And like I said, I'll share all of this, don't worry. But fabric 1 is a half of a yard. Fabric 2 is a quarter of a yard. Fabric 3 is a fat 16th. So that's how I figured out how to know which ones I'm supposed to use for which. And it totally made sense then, because I knew if my number 1 is a half a yard, I have 2 of these half yards, and one of them is for all the backgrounds. So the backgrounds of the houses, the backgrounds of the trees, the plain blocks, all of the backgrounds. So it seemed really obvious to me that they chose this really cute blue with white dots. It looks like snow, and like they're just kind of all over. So, oh my gosh, it's so cute. I think this is so fun for our background. So I wrote on it, it's a half a yard, and I'm using it for number 1 background. All right, and then our other half a yard, there's another half a yard, and if you look on the Kimberbell directions, that other half yard is for the back. So easy back fabric. This is great for that. So I was pretty happy that I figured out their plan, and their plan, I was really happy with all the fabrics. Like, you just get all these fabrics and you're like, what goes with what? But the way that once you figure it out, it's pretty darn cute to see it all come together. So the next one is a quarter yard for fabric 2. And that one says it's for border pieces. So all of those borders around the table runner. So obviously, well, not obviously, but I chose, you get 2. So there's 2 quarter yard ones. So it's either or, and it's totally up to you. Use what you want to use. But I decided on this really cute snowflakes for the border. And I think that's probably what my girlfriend's quilt shop had in mind, but who knows? So I wrote on it a quarter yard, and I'm using it for number 2 borders. All right. And then there's another quarter yard, like I mentioned. And the other quarter yard, let me see if I remember. The other quarter yard is for the binding. So for the binding, how perfect is this? So imagine, so this, it's a navy with those white dots, and then our background is the light blue with the white dots like snow. So how cute is this for the binding? So perfect. All right, and then we have the next biggest one is a fat 1/8, I think it was. Yeah, the fat 1/8. So a fat 1/8, and I had to Google what all of these sizes are because I'm not a sewer. I don't know off the top of my head. So I figured out that a fat 1/8 is 9 by 21, and that's what this white with gray dots is. So I knew that this meant that this is supposed to be my fabric 4. So fabric 4 is for the trees. So think of these cute little houses, which we haven't even gotten to the houses yet, but you saw the background, you saw the borders, you saw the binding. So white with gray dots for the trees, I think that will be so cute and so wintry. So number 4, this white with gray dots is the trees. And again, you can use whatever fabrics that you want, but if you get this winter bundle, I've already figured out what is what. All right, and then lastly is the fat 16ths, and you get 6 of them, 6 different fat 16ths. And then it says that one of the fat 16ths is for the border corners, and then all the rest are for the house pieces. Fabrics 5 through 9, fat 16ths, are for the house pieces. So what I decided, and again, totally optional, but all of these are fat 16ths, and one is for the corners, and all the rest are for the houses. So it seemed kind of obvious to me, and again, do what works for you, but I thought that this red would be really cute as the corners, because that is a very different color than all these others. and that will be really nice with our borders. So think about how cute is that, right? So that was my plan. So one of them is for number 3, fabric number 3, and it's for the corner. So I wrote it on there, fat 16th, number 3 corners. All right, and then all the rest are house pieces. And look, you can see that they all kind of go together. They're all different blues. I think that will be so cute for a winter table runner. This will be really cute. So I wrote on it fat 16th, number 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, and for the houses. So that's how I organized mine and how I figured out what is supposed to go with what. The key is just to remember the size. So if you got like the Christmas kit, I didn't get that one, so I didn't already figure it out for you. But again, super easy once you realize to just go by the size. So a half a yard, you know, is fabric 1, and the other half a yard is for fabric 11. Is that right? No, sorry, fabric 10 for the backing. So just go by the size of the fabric that you receive, and then you'll see how it works. And again, I will share this. This is my adjustment to it. As you can see, I added the size that they are because I needed that information, and then what I'm using it for. So I did that. That goes along with all of these. And then I made a note that we are not using that peel and stick. This was an error, and we are just using project batting. So just some helpful information as we prepare. So once you get all these, I haven't started the next step, but the next step would be to cut them all. So we would cut them according to the directions that are in Kimberbell. It says right here, all of the different sizes that we need. Am I pointing to the right area? Yeah, all the different sizes. So like within a fat 16th, say that we're going to do a house piece, it's 3 by 3. So all of that information is here, and again, I will share this and we'll start preparing them. And one other thing is you don't need to back all of these with fusible stabilizer, and I'll tell you it's hard for me not to do that. I really want to, but that's just me really liking to make sure everything's super duper stabilized. But if you think about it, this is one of those projects where you just flip it over, you place it and flip it over, and the only stitching is this one little line to hold it in place. So we don't have to, Cristin, calm down, it's all right. We don't have to stabilize it. So later, after we finish our table runner and get all the pieces down, then we are going to put our project batting in, and we are going to quilt it. And so that will be our stabilizer. And they say that that's all we need. So I'm going to do that. So that's it. Just start preparing your fabrics when you get your fabrics. If you're still ordering from My Girlfriend's Quilt Shop, there's time. We've decided to push the project out. Don't worry. In fact, I'm going to take a little trip to California and go for some bike rides. So you've got time. Get your orders in from My Girlfriend's Quilt Shop, and they're doing a great job staying on top of getting our orders shipped. So it's not a problem. And I think that's it. Just start getting your supplies. Make sure you've got your clear blue tiles because the design is on that. And I think those sold out this morning also, but they're working on it. Don't worry. So, and get your fabrics. So either, like I said, from your stash or Kimberbell Basics, or one of the fun kits that My Girlfriend's Quilt Shop made for us. All right, let's get started. Getting ready to get started. Did you get clear blue tiles for Christmas? Are you ready to play? Oh my goodness, you guys are so excited about clear blue tiles. I have had so many messages. When are we going to start? So I feel the same way. I'm super excited too. So let's just real quick go over everything again. You have to have the clear blue tiles essential set. And not only because of the clear blue tiles that we're going to use after we get our table runner all together, but because inside of the kit, sorry, I have my extras in there, is the USB stick. So everybody's been asking me, where do I get the design for the table runner? It's on the USB stick that is in the essential kit. So you have to have this essential kit, and it comes with all of the clear blue tiles, and it comes with the slap bands and the little water-soluble pens, everything that we need. And there's also instructions on making that table runner. So we are going to make the table runner together. You don't already have to have your fabrics cut out. You don't already have to have your table runner set. We're going to do all of it together. This is a group project. So for those that have a bigger machine like a Dream Machine or a Solaris or any of the other brands that are the bigger machines, you can also get the expansion set. The expansion set is for those that have a larger hoop, but it's also for those that want to do an all-over quilting. So it's totally up to you. You can do your table runner with one all-over quilting design and using the larger expansion set kit, or you can use the essential set and do each block, which is what I'm leaning toward. I think that would be more fun and also get me more practice, since I haven't tried these yet. I don't know much about them yet, so I'm very excited about them like you are. So this one, each block, whatever size the blocks are for the houses and the trees and the little corners. And so my plan right now is to do each of those in a different quilting design. I think that would be really fun. So like I said, get your essential set. If you haven't already, get it as soon as you can. It's our sponsor. Don't forget, our sponsor is My Girlfriend's Quilt Shop, and there is a new coupon code. I will put it here on the video. You order from My Girlfriend's Quilt Shop, you use this coupon code, and you will get 10% off of the essential set or the expansion set or both. I don't believe it works on the kits, for the fabric kits, but I'm not absolutely sure about that. There's been a little bit of discrepancy on that. So I was told it does not, and then I think it did on some. I'm not sure. Anyway, use your coupon code, buy from My Girlfriend's Quilt Shop. I know they have run out of stock repeatedly every time that we talk about this, and they're working so hard to keep them in stock. So right now, the winter fabric kit is in stock. There's also a Christmas fabric kit. There's a Halloween fabric kit. And I think they're all in stock right now. So do that. The Clear Blue Tiles Essential Set, I know that the expansion set is in stock on My Girlfriend's Quilt Shop. The Essential Set, it says in stock and available on back order. So I'm not really sure what that means. It let me add it to my cart. I just checked it a minute ago. So I'm not absolutely sure if that means that they're expecting them in soon or that they're actually in stock, but either way, they're working hard on it for us. So always make sure to work with our sponsor and get your orders in. So like I said on my last video, when you get your fabric kit from My Girlfriend's Quilt Shop, it just comes in this cute little package, and I didn't know what everything goes with, and it doesn't tell you this is for the trees, this is for that, because really it's your choice, right? And when you open that USB stick for the instructions, you will see this. All right, this is what comes on the USB stick, and I found it a little confusing personally, only because I've never gotten a fabric kit this way before. And so what I did is after I figured it out, I wrote all the specifics here. And so here, let me do this. I'm going to add this photo here, and then you can do a screenshot. It's also in our group, the Cristin Creates group, so that you can print it out from there. But if you're not in that group, just working on YouTube, then you can use this screenshot, or you can use this photo and do a screenshot on your computer and then print it, so that if that works for you. Like I said, the instructions are on the USB stick, but what I did is I just added the information of which one for which fabric. So we went over this on the last video, but real quick. So there are the fat eighth, I realized is for number 4, the trees. And you can see on fabric number 4, it says tree piece on the sheet here. And so I just figured out which one goes with which, and you can see it on here. And as long as you know what size each of your fabrics are, then you can figure out what goes with what. And there are some options, and do whatever works for you. But I chose, out of all of the fat 16ths, There were 6 of them, if I recall, and we need 5 for, I should make sure before I'm telling you this, the fat 16ths, there are 6 of them, and so you're going to use 5 of them for the houses and then 1 for the corners. So I chose all of the blues from the winter fabric kit for my houses, and then I chose this red for my corners. Again, totally optional, do what works for you. But once you figure out the size of your fabrics, it makes it easier to figure out what goes with what. And I went into real big detail on the last video. And there's always a link underneath this video. So you just scroll down past the video and it says Cristin Creates, and then it says click here for more information. Click on that, and then there's all the links for my girlfriend's quilt shop and for our past videos and all the information that you need for this project, because we're going to work on this together. That's from a computer, and from a phone it's got like a little arrow. You still go underneath the video, and then it says Cristin Creates, and there's a little arrow, and you click on that arrow and it's got the description and all the links and all the information. So that the first video that has the information on what fabrics go with what, I will add a link in there. So you want to use that because that video had all the information on the fabric. So for now, we're going to just cut, okay? So that's the first step, is prepping our fabrics. So in the past, you know, I'm a big advocate of adding stabilizer on the back of your fabric so that you don't get puckering. But with the clear blue tiles, they say we don't need to do that. And so I'm not going to. This will be my first time. So I am not going to stabilize my fabrics. And if you think about it, it's that method where you put down a fabric and you flip it over and it stitches the little line, and then you add the next fabric and you flip it over. And we're going to go over all of that together. But really think about the stitching. It's just that one little line to hold down each of the fabrics. That's why we don't need a whole bunch of stabilizer. And then the batting is going to stabilize our quilting. And the quilting is not, you know, super stitch intense like doing embroidery or appliques. It doesn't have satin stitching or anything like that. It's just a quilting design. So I am not going to stabilize the back of my fabric. So I'm going to have them just as is. And the first step, like I said, is just to cut your fabrics. And you want to use that guide to know what size. So like for the trees. So my trees, the one that I decided is the white with gray dots. And it says to cut 2 by 2.5, 4 pieces, and then 12 pieces at 2.5 by 4. So everything is on here. So that's the first step. Don't stabilize them. Just cut all of your fabrics, and then we're going to, that's the first part. And then the next part is we're going to start on making the houses and the trees. And we'll do each of those steps together. And just a side note, I had said that we're going to start like the second week of January. And I don't know if you've been watching the news, but there is, a snowstorm. So it turns out that my trip, I'm still going to go, but it's not going to be as long as I wanted. I'm not going to bring my bike. I'm not going to go on bike rides with my friends. I'm just going to go see my mom and go see my newest grandson. So the trip is a lot shorter. And so we should be able to start probably around January 5th or such. So for now, just get your fabrics ready, because I know I've been getting so many messages asking when we're going to start and should I do this and should I do that. And so go ahead and start on your fabrics, or start after we begin the actual project, whatever works for you. But I know everyone was so busy making all of their projects for Christmas gifts, and now we're all like, hey, let's do a Kimberbell project. So we're going to start on the clear blue tiles and just start prepping our fabrics. And that's it for now. If you haven't already, join the Cristin Creates Facebook group, and that makes it so that you can share your photos also, because it is a group project. And always make sure to click the like button on these videos. It helps my promotion of Cristin Creates. Click the like, and also subscribe, and leave a comment. Let me know if you're joining me. I hope you're joining and having fun with us. So we're having a great time in that Cristin Creates group, and I'm really glad that we're all doing this together. So let's start our next project, clear blue tiles. blue tiles. Are you ready? Come on, finally. You guys, I have waited so long. I've missed you. So we decided to push out our clear blue tiles project because everyone was busy with Christmas. I totally get that. But now it's time. It's after January. It's time to get started clear blue tiles. So real quick, remember, you need to have this essential set because inside of the essential set is our clear blue tiles, but it's also got, sorry, I keep my extras in there. It also has this USB stick, and the USB stick has the table runner design. So you have to have this essential set. If you've ordered it and you haven't received it yet, these videos will be recorded and you can come back to it when you're ready. So let's start. Let's join in on this group project, our first group project of 2022. So, like I said in the last video, I made some adjustments to the directions that's on the USB stick. So I will add a screenshot so that you can, like, I'll show you this photo that has the little adjustments, and then you can do a screenshot. If you're on your computer or your phone, you can do a screenshot of it, or I have it posted in the Cristin Creates group also, and you can download it there and print it out. Whatever works for you. The most important thing on this is where it says fusible peel and stick at the bottom here. We don't need that. That was an error. We actually need the Kimberbell project batting. So we don't need it yet. No, not yet, I don't think. At the end when we're going to do the quilting. But anyway, so Kimberbell project batting is what we need. And then for in our hoop, when we are putting our houses and trees and blocks together, we are going to need this ultralight cutaway embroidery stabilizer. It's the one with the gold label, and that is for in our hoop. All right, and then no other stabilizers. We don't need anything else. So like I mentioned before, you can also buy the expansion pack, the one that's for the bigger machines if you choose. It depends on how you're going to do your quilting. So if you're going to do an all over quilting and you've got a big machine with a big hoop, then you can use these the expansion set. I think I'm going to use the essential set and do each block different. I think that will be more fun, and this is my first time using the clear blue tiles, so I'm pretty excited about it. So I gave you some homework before everyone left for Christmas vacation. I said that if you're available to get started, then you want to start by cutting your fabrics. So we went over very specifically what fabrics to cut and what sizes and all of that. So after that, you want to have them separated with a little label so you know what's for what. And I just used the Kimberbell tape for my label. And I've just got them so that I know what is what. All right, and that just makes it easier to know when we're going to do our blocks. So all of these, and don't forget that the ones that are multi, like these, the ones for the houses, there are some that are, I wrote on there piece 7, piece 2 and 3, which is the left and the right side of the house. And then the door is, well, I just wrote door 3 by 3, and then there's piece 4, which is that 5 by 2. So just have them all separated. Also your trees, piece 1, and then all the rest of the trees I just lumped together because they're all the same size. So, and then the corners and the background. So on the background, there are house backgrounds, and then there are tree backgrounds. So you can see they're just a little bit different size, and so you just want to have those all grouped together. And then there's a couple of background pieces and a couple of the larger blocks for background pieces. And all of that information is on this sheet and also on our last video. So you just want to have them labeled and ready to go. So we're going to start with the houses, and we will go over some tips once I get one done. I'm going to go do one now, and then we'll go over a little bit of tips. So I think at this point, I haven't made one yet, but I think in the past when we do those flip over, put a piece down, flip it over, trim, whatever, I have found it the biggest tip is to get them in the order that you're going to use them. Then you're not going back and forth on the directions and trying to figure out which ones that you need if you have them all placed in order. And we'll go over that as soon as I make one. So anyway, it's time for our group project. We have a lot of newbies here and joining in. This will be a really fun one. We finally get to use those clear blue tiles that comes with, I think it was like 9 quilting designs in a ton of different sizes. And so we're going to use the quilting designs that are on the USB stick, but you also have the option of using the ones you've already pre-downloaded from Kimberbell. If you bought quilting designs off of kimberbell.com, you can use the blue ones for the clear blue tiles, and you can purchase one. If you do purchase one, if you're not going to use the ones that are on the USB stick and you decide to purchase a different quilting design, just use our sponsor's link, and that is in the description underneath this video. Our sponsor for this project is My Girlfriend's Quilt Shop, and they're the ones that worked really hard to get these cute kits for us and keep them in stock repeatedly when we kept selling them out. And also the clear blue tiles. They've worked really hard to make those available for us too. So My Girlfriend's Quilt Shop, and like I said, there's links under this video for all the information. There's also our coupon code, which I think expired actually. But anyway, we've been talking about this project since I think like November 1st, and it's finally time to do it. So let's get started. Okay, so we'll go over each step of the process, but you're going to use your 5x7 hoop, and like I said, the ultralight cutaway stabilizer, and you're going to get your fabrics. So like I said, I think it's a lot easier, in my opinion, if you get them in order, and I will show you this paper here. So this paper tells you, it's on the directions, and it tells you the 1 through 9 steps and which fabrics to use, and that guide will help you. But what I would do if I were you is to put them in order first. So like it says, number 1 is the door of your house. So you would put number 1. Then numbers 2 and 3 are the matching ones, the 2 that are the same, and it's for both sides of the door. And like this first one, the door goes straight right side up, and we'll go over all of that, but right side up, and then you trim and you put down the 2 and 3, and these are going to go upside down, and we're going to flip them, and we'll go over each step, don't worry. But like I said, 2 and 3 are next. And then number 4, if I recall, house number 4. So, and you're just using from those multiple fabrics that we had. And then number 5 and 6 are the background fabrics. So in my kit, depending on if you got the winter kit or another kit, or you're using your own fabrics, it doesn't matter. But on mine, it's the light blue with the white dots. That's all of the background pieces, and they're the same size here. So those are numbers 5 and 6, and those are for the sides of the house, or just past the house, because it's the background. And then number 7 is the roof. So that's the 5.5 by 3, I think it was. And then the 2 more side pieces, 8 and 9, house background. Again, same size. And those are the 9 pieces that you need to create one house. And so you just use from each of your little stacks, the little fabrics that you want them all different. I want mine different. I guess it depends on how you want to do yours, but 2 and 3 are the same, and all the background fabrics are your house background. So anyway, just get all of these in order, and then you just, as it comes time to lay down a fabric, you've got them all already in order, and you don't have to go through too much thought process, really. And one other thing is, it says to iron. Oh, it's stowing at my house. It says to iron the piece as you flip it down. I don't do that. I just do a finger press and it works fine. Just make sure it doesn't bubble up or anything like that. And again, we'll go over step by step. It's really easy. These are actually my personal favorite projects, the ones that you flip them over, and you can just make them so different with all the different fabrics and stuff. It's very fun, and it's a little bit of a mind game, but once you get it down and figure it all out, you'll get it going. Oh, you should see it here. It's so pretty right now. It's snowing. I just got back from California and walking on the beach and seeing all my family, and it was so beautiful, and it was nice to get a break from the snow, and yet now it's snowing, and I think, oh, it's so nice to be home. So it's good to like where you are. Anyway, let's get making our houses. I'm going to make my first one now, and we'll go over all the rest in photos step by step. Don't worry, it's going to be fun. Okay, and just like that, they're all done. They only take a few minutes each one. Very easy to do. Just make sure to get your fabrics in order 1 through 9 before you start, and that makes it so easy. And then basically, what is it? You stitch, you trim, you add the next fabric right side down, do the next stitch, and flip it over and finger press it. If you feel more comfortable using a small iron in the hoop, that works too, whatever works for you. The very first one, like I said, the door, you do fabric facing up, but all the others you do fabric facing down and you flip it. And so it's a very simple process and pretty fun, I think, and very quick too. So anyway, when you've got your 5 houses done, share a photo in the comments in the Cristin Creates group, and then we'll know we're ready to move on to the trees. All right, so the trees will be the same process too, but we're going to do it in phases, nice relaxed pace. We're not in a rush. So get your 5 houses done, 5 quick hoopings, and share a photo, and then we'll move on. And just a reminder, if you're part of the Stabilizer Lab from my girlfriend's quilt shop, a bunch of us signed up for that. I think it was November 1st that we all signed up for that. Each month they have their whichever stabilizer that they're focusing on, you get 25% off, and that is, I think this month they're doing Tearaway. So just make sure to keep in mind to stock up on your stabilizers if you're part of Stabilizer Lab, with the ones that they work through each month. And that's it. Ask my shirt today. I made this right before Christmas. If you know me, you know I have a pink beetle with flowers on it. So I found this design. I actually went and looked for it. It's from a company called like Snuggle Puppy, I think it was. I'll put that in the description below. Also, it's a cute little applique. And I had never used this company before, but I Googled it looking for a Volkswagen Beetle with presents on it for Christmas, and I thought it was so fun, and I found this one and it was digitized perfectly. I loved it. So that's my shirt today, and the shirt is from JCPenney's. It's not my favorite, but it works, and that's it. So tell me, what did you get for Christmas? I'm really curious. Put in the comments of this video, tell me what you got for Christmas. I know a bunch of people had Santa bring clear blue tiles. What a fun gift is that? So tell me, what'd you get for Christmas? So tell me, did you get your house blocks done? All 5 of them. Do you know what comes next? Hey everyone, Cristin Som here, and we are continuing our work with the Clear Blue Tiles project. So like I mentioned, on the Clear Blue Tiles project, inside of the Clear Blue Tiles Essential Set, there is a USB stick, and on that USB stick is the table runner, and that's what we're working on together. So yesterday we started with the houses. We did all of our cutting before that, and now we're doing the houses. So some are still out of town, I know, so we're doing this at a very relaxed pace, but there are 5 houses. That means 1 hooping for each house, or you can combine them together. I saw one gal in our group did that. You could easily do that. I've shown lots of videos on using Sew It Pro embroidery software to combine, so you could do that. This one you'd have to really pay attention and make sure to get both sets done, because you want to basically put down your fabric, put down the stitch, and then flip it and trim it and the whole bit. There's a whole little tutorial on the houses. And next, you know what comes next? Next we're going to work on the trees. So The trees, we're going to use the 2 fabrics. So it's actually 1 fabric, but the different cut sizes. So tree piece 1, I think this is probably going to be our trunk of the tree, and all the other ones are the same size. So it really doesn't matter. And all the cut instructions are in the previous video for the trees, but I can tell you also right here. So, what was it? The white, tree piece 1 is 2 by 2.5, and you need 4 of those. And then all the other ones, there's 12 pieces that are 2.5 by 4. So you saw 12 of these 2.5 by 4, and that's for our trees. And you're not backing these fabrics, they are just as is. And one thing I wanted to point out too is yesterday when we did the house blocks, these are your houses. You can do them however you want to. I decided to do mine more of a scrapbooky feel. And so some people are doing all of the house parts the same design, and that is super cute too. The only thing with doing that is then if you're using directional fabric, if you have this here and this here and this here, you want to line up those lines. So I didn't want to do that. I wanted more of a scrapbooky feel and have it be different, and that's totally my choice, totally your choice on your houses. So you can see I did the only ones that are the same blocks are the block 2, or the same pieces are piece 2 and piece 3. All the rest are different. And I've seen it done both ways, and it looks really cute. So it's up to you, whatever you think looks best for your house blocks. So this was yesterday's challenge, is to get the 5 house blocks done. And now we're going to do the trees. And the trees, there are 4 tree pieces that we're going to do. So that's 4 hoopings, or you can group them all together if you wish, but we're going to make 4 trees today. So I had a couple of questions on the sheet that I made. This is just a JPEG. So it comes on the USB stick, the directions, and then I just added some information to mine. And that is, I did a screenshot so that you could use it. If you do a screenshot on your phone, then it makes it so that you can zoom in and do whatever you want to do. Or you can save it as a screenshot and send it to your printer. So whatever works for you. It is a JPEG file. It's not a PDF. This is just the one that has my additions. And I made these additions. The important one, like I said yesterday, is the project batting. We're going to use project batting instead of the sticky thing that they had said in the directions. That was just a mistake. So the project batting by Kimberbell. And in our hoop, we're using the ultralight mesh cutaway. So nice, easy, no other stabilizers. You're not backing your fabrics or anything like that. But basically for the directions that I made, all I did is I added the size so that I could figure out what fabrics go with what. And you can see that on the cut video. There's specifically a cut video so that you know which pieces to cut. And for me, it helped to know the size to be able to know which ones are meant to go with what. And then I wrote the size or the fabrics. And I'm using the winter kit. And you know what's really cool? I assumed that when we all ordered the winter kit that they were all going to be the same, and they're not. And it's really cool to me that I'm seeing that there are very small differences. So some people have, mine's light blue with white dots for snow, and I've seen some that are white with or gray. I think I saw gray, and I've seen a few different variations of these same fabrics in different colors. And to me, that's so fun. It's very custom. You know, we've all got our own little blocks for our table runner. So this is going to be really fun. So we did the houses, and those are super quick and easy. Don't stress that you're behind if you're still out of town and you're watching this going, wait, just slow down. Don't worry. The blocks are super fast. And like I said, we're doing this at a very relaxed pace. We're not rushing through it at all. So moving on to the trees, we're going to do the 4 tree blocks. And then on the next video, we'll, I think, start putting it together. I think that's the next step. So I haven't really read ahead. I'm learning this as I go, just like you guys. And I've already seen some completed, which is so funny to me. Like, they cut out their fabrics and got so excited to start putting them together. And it's funny to me because I feel like I haven't seen you guys in so long. Like we haven't done a group project since Candy Cane Lane because everybody was busy with Christmas. And so I get that excitement. I get that whole feeling of, oh, I want to do more. But slow down. There's people that are still out of town trying to get home, and delayed flights and canceled flights even. We were lucky. Ours was only delayed by a few hours. So, but anyway, people are off doing fun things and trying to hurry back to get doing our clear blue tiles project together. So anyway, so we are going to continue and we are going to do the trees. And so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so I forgot to mention that you will also need your tree background pieces. That's, for mine, it's the light blue with white dots on it. And like I said, the tree trunk, which is piece 1, and then all the other tree pieces. So like I said on the houses, I highly recommend putting them in order. Get one little stack of all 12 pieces for the trees, and that makes it go so much quicker and so much easier than having to check the directions. If I recall, number 1 is the trunk, and that one will be right side up. All the others will be right side down, and then it is 2, 3, 4, 5, on and on, but 4, 7, and 10 are the ones that are the tree pieces, and all the others are tree background pieces. So just get them in order of the order that you're going to use them, 1 through 12, and you can see on the photo of the tree that shows the order that they're going to stitch, and that just makes it so easy to get these all done correctly in the right order and trimming and so on. So this is going to be fun. Let's go ahead and get started. tree blocks all done in the time of less than one Hallmark movie. So let me know when you get your 4 blocks done. Share a photo in the Cristin Creates group. There are links, as always, under the video to our sponsor, to our Cristin Creates group, to the coupon code. And by the way, My Girlfriend's Quilt Shop, our sponsor for this project, they have extended the coupon code. So if you're seeing these videos and kicking yourself for not joining in, there's still time. And they got some more clear blue tile essential kits in as well, and they are extending the coupon code. So if you haven't joined in yet, there's still time. Join in the fun project. So on the last video, I asked you what you got for Christmas. You have to look in the comments on the yesterday's video, the house video. The gifts that people got were amazing, super awesome, fun gifts. So if you haven't told me yet, I want to know what you got for Christmas. And I also want to know, did you make a list? Did you tell your husband or partner what to get for you? I'm doing that next year. So I got socks. Cute little pink socks, which tells me he was thinking about me. Hubby got me pink socks, and they're aloe infused, and they're pink with little hearts and a little kitty. So cute, right? Next year I'm making a list. That's not gonna quite cut it. Very nice that he thought of me, but next year, thread, fun projects, designs. They're magnetic hoop. I think we all should put on our list next year, magnetic hoop. So lots of fun ideas, and we'll go over it more next year as we get close to Christmas, because I'm telling you, lists are a good idea. I'm making a list next year. Make sure to like and subscribe to this channel. I get a lot of questions of, has the video been released yet? And yes, and you will know, because if you're subscribed, you'll get an email telling you, click here, here's the latest video. So you can stay up on our group projects together and find out what's coming up next. Spring showers. Well, what do you think? Should we put all these together? Hey everyone, Cristin Som here, and we're continuing with our clear blue tiles table runner project. So today we have our houses done, we have our trees done, and we've got our background pieces. There's those two, I think it's two pieces. The smaller ones 2.5 by 4.5, and then the larger block ones that are 4.5 by 4.5. And we're going to put all of these together and get started on our table runner. So my house is quiet today. My husband actually went somewhere to go watch football, so I get an embroidery day without the TV loud and just quiet girl time. So I hope you're joining me. I hope you're having fun, and let's get making our table runner. All right, so to get started, I put mine in order of how I'm going to sew the blocks together. So it's tree, and then a blank 4x4 block, a house block, and another blank 4x4 block. It's actually 4.5 by 4.5, but seam allowance. And then another house block, a tree block, and another blank 4x4 block. That's the first row. And then the second row is the blank 2.5 by 4.5 block, a house block, and a tree block, and a blank, I want to call it a tree block, but the 2.5 by 4.5 block, and a house block, and I've got one of the blank blocks, blank 4.5 by 4.5 block, and the house block, and a tree block. So that's the second row. So we'll start by sewing the first row all together, and then the second row all together, and then we'll sew those two rows together. All right, let's do this. So in our last two videos, I asked you what you got for Christmas and did you make a list for your husband? So today I have a different question. I want to know, did you make some goals, some New Year goals for 2022? I have several goals. I'm very, very goal oriented, if you didn't know. And so I have several goals, and I always have a cycling goal in mileage and climbing. And I missed the first 3 or 4 days of January because we were out of town. And so all this week I have been trying to catch up on my goals right from the start, already in catch up mode. And I'll tell you, my bum hurts. I've been on the bike trainer for too many miles after not riding enough, and my bum is sore. So I'm curious, how are your goals going? Do you have some big goals that you're trying to do, and how's it going so far? I want to know. And since you always ask me, the shirt today is Baby It's Cold Outside. It's by So Cute Appliques. The sweatshirt is from Macy's. I don't know if they still have them. I got it on a pretty good sale, and then I told people about it, and a bunch of people bought them. So I'll add a link if I have it. And as always, the links are always underneath the video. So you scroll down under your video, whether you're on a computer or on a phone, scroll down under the video, and it'll say Cristin Creates, and then the very first line I have something like click here to see the links to help it find it easier. And so click there, and there's all the links to our sponsor, to our coupon code, to all the information that you could ask for. And I generally try to include information on my shirts to try and alleviate some of the questions. So anyway, let's get going. right, so once you've got all of your top row and bottom row sewn together, I did my seams open. Do what works for you. It wasn't in the directions that I could see, so I did them open, and it lays pretty well. Nice. So I'm very happy with this. Now it's time to move on to the borders. So you're going to need your 4 corner pieces and your sets of borders. So there were 2 2 that were the smaller size and 2 that were the longer size. All the cut instructions are on that first video that we did. So get your borders and your corners, and we're going to sew those together onto our table runner that's coming along. It looks pretty fun. Okay, so once you have the corners sewn onto the long piece, and then iron open your seams. So corner on each of the long pieces. That's one, and then the other one again with the corner sewn on. Then we are going to put those aside for just a second, and we are going to take the shorter border pieces and we're going to sew those onto each end of our table runner. Both of these ends here, and then we'll sew the long pieces on, and I think we're almost there. Wow, very close. Did you know that a summer body is built during the winter? Did you know that? So several times today, one of my best friends has sent me several messages telling me of the adventures that we're going to have later this year. So I need to get busy working on my goals and getting some strength to be able to go on those adventures. So just keep your New Year's resolutions alive and going, and let's do this. Okay, so I've got my table runner all put together. I'm very happy with it. Love the colors. My girlfriend's Quilt Shop, our sponsor for this project, did a great job making fabric kits for us. I thought this was really fun. You know, I'm a pink gal and I like teal too, and yet this blue with the pops of red, I love it. This is really fun. So once you have your table runner all put together, I want you to add a photo in the Cristin Creates Facebook group so that I know when you're ready to do the quilting. We get to try out our clear blue tiles next. That will be so fun. All right, so share a photo in Cristin Creates. Let me know when you're done. And the next step, like I said, we will use our clear blue tiles. So don't forget to tell me, what are some of your goals this year? I'm really curious. I told you one of mine is always cycling miles and climbing. Another one that I have for this year is that I want to get a lot of my embroidery designs organized. I have them on my computer, and most of them are organized, but I have this huge stack of all in one folder that says embroidery designs to organize, and I haven't been working on those in a long time, so I need to organize those. And I do mine by an Excel spreadsheet. I know a lot of people have asked me to do a tutorial on that, and hopefully as time permits we'll be able to do something like that. But anyway, so what are some of your goals? Well, are you ready? Are you ready to use your tiles? Are you nervous? I'm nervous. Let's do it. Hey everyone, Cristin here, and it's time to do the tiles part of our table runner. So I have to tell you, I'm a little nervous. I'm a little more than a little nervous. So we all did our houses, our trees, our blank blocks, our borders, our corners, and pieced it all together. And it's so cute. And now it's time to do the actual work of the table runner. So a few things. I want to point out, you will need your USB stick that is in the Clear Blue Tiles Essential Set. The reason is because that is where you will get the quilting designs. There are 9 quilting designs in a ton of sizes. There's actually even more than that because there's 6 different bitty blocks too. So anyway, lots of designs. They're on your USB stick that is in the Clear Blue Tiles Essential Set. And so we will need that. You also will need your hoops. So it depends on your choice. If you are going to do an all over quilting design, then you probably want your biggest hoop, depending. So what I did is I measured the size. I used my little orange ruler, and I measured the size of the house blocks and the tree blocks and also the borders. So the houses are 4x4, the trees are 2x4. So the reason that you want to know this is so that you can start determining what designs that you want to do for your blocks. Like I said, you can do an all over design. I'm going to do each one. So I've decided I want my houses to all be one type of quilting, and then the trees one type, the blank blocks, and then the border blocks. So let's quickly talk about the border blocks. The border blocks I measured, and they are 24 inches long. So you're going to want a quilting design that is 2x24, which obviously we don't have a hoop that will do that. So depending on your hoop size, you need to figure out which of your tiles that you're going to use. So I've taken out the ones that I think I'm going to use. I'm going to use the 4x4s for the houses, the 2x4s for the trees, and then those will work also for the blank blocks. And then the cute little 2x2 biddies for the corners. Now, again, depending on your hoop size is what you'll decide on your border blocks. So if you have the essential set, which you have to do this, the tiles, you can use, so if it's 24 inches, this one is 2 by 6. So you would do a 2 by 6 4 times, right? Yeah, 2 by 6 4 times. If you have a, what is this one? 2 by 8, then you can, if you have a hoop size, you remember you have to have like an 8 by 8 hoop or an 8 by 12 hoop to be able to use the 2 by 8 design. But if you have that, then you can do this 3 times. You can quilt each of it 3 times to get a total of 24 inches for your border blocks. Now, if you have, let's see, what is this? If you, like I did, if you bought the expansion set because you have a bigger hoop, in the expansion set, there is a 2 by 12. There's also a 2 by 10 in the regular set. In the regular set, so if you have a big hoop but you only bought the essential set, you could do the 2 by 10 and a 2 by 2 and do both of those twice, or actually 2 by 10 twice and a 2 by 4 would work. So you're just equaling out to 24 inches. But if you, like I said, if you bought the expansion set, there is a big one in there. There's a 2 by 12 that we can do, and then you're only doing 2 hoopings. So you want to start by deciding what quilting designs you want to do, and then deciding which tiles you'll need and which hoops you need. And you also need your back fabric. Don't forget your back fabric, and don't forget your batting. All right, Kimberbell's got the project batting. That is the right loft for this project, and this will be my first time using it, so I'm pretty excited. So on this, I have decided, and this is totally optional, this is do what you want to do. Like I said, I want mine to be all different. I'm pretty excited about this project. We've waited a long time for it. And so I want to do all mine different. Rather than doing one all over design on my entire table runner, I'm going to do them differently. So on all of my house blocks, I've decided on the winter design. And like I said, the winter design is on your USB stick that is in the essential set. And it's the one with the cute little snowflakes and swirls. All right, so that's what I'm gonna do on my house blocks. So all my house blocks are gonna have a 4x4 of the winter design that's on the USB stick. For my trees, I've decided on the loop, and at this point, I haven't started yet, but I want to do the loops upside down. So when I saw the loop design, I pulled it up in software just to see what would look cute with what. And the loop goes like this, and I want it to go this way. So I'm thinking I'm gonna flip it so that I think it'll look like little lights on my tree. That's what I'm imagining. I think that would be really cute to do the loops and have it going this way. So loops on that, winter on the houses, and then what were the other ones I decided? So keep in mind that you can use all of the quilting designs that are in the essential set, but you can also use any of the blue designs that are on the Kimberbell website. And a bunch of us have already bought a bunch of them, so you can use those. So don't forget also, if you bought them a while ago, you can re-download them. I just re-downloaded some of mine. You can re-download them, and for free, because you've already paid for it, you've already bought it. But Kimberbell was nice enough to adjust the designs to also include CBT files. So if you re-download it, it's got a file or a folder that says CBTs. So when I'm thinking for the blank 4x4s, I want to use Christmas trees, and I think it was called Christmas trees. It might just be called trees, and it's just trees. It looks super cute, and I think that since it's a blank block, I think that would be really cute. And we already bought it. Some of us already bought it. I bought it for Candy Cane Lane. So since I already have it, I want to use it, and I wanted mine to be different. So I haven't decided completely on the blank swirls. I'm leaning toward just the regular swirl design that comes on the essential set, but I'll give more information as we go through the process. So for right now, I think I missed one. Oh, on the borders and the bitty blocks. So for the bitty blocks, there are 6 different designs on your USB stick, and they're cute. So I'm going to do the mittens. I even thought about doing, and you could even do the mittens in a 2x2, 2x2 twice, because they are just really cute. So totally optional. So that's the first thing, is to start thinking about what you want to do on your blocks. And then, like I said, this one is a long 24 inches. And so we need to decide what we want to do on that one. What was I leaning toward? I don't remember, but I wrote it all down, didn't bring it with me. So I will share what I've decided, and you guys can use whatever you want. One thing I noticed is that you don't have to use the border blocks on the long 24 inch. You could use, like, even the Christmas trees. There was a 2x12 design in the CBT folder. So you could actually do even the Christmas trees on that. It doesn't have to be a border design. But there are 2 border designs on the USB stick, border loops and border swirl. So you can choose that for your borders. And then, like I said, if you've got this, you can just do it in less hoopings. But it really doesn't matter, because we're not using stabilizer. I'll show you as we get there, but we're gonna just pick it up and move it, and so it really doesn't matter how many hoopings. So one other thing is, you want your I don't know what you call it, but the grid, and you want one for each of the hoops that you're going to use. So hopefully you saved these. Mine came with my machine, and I actually thought about tossing them at one point, because I was moving them from house to house. Excuse my dogs, my husband's getting home right now. So I pulled out the one from my 8x12 hoop as well. Might use 8x8 now that I think about it. That might be easier. That actually would be easier. So I'll pull out the grid for that. If you don't have a grid, if you did not save these plastic grids, I heard that Kim did a tutorial on how to make one. I can't find it. I've looked everywhere, and I will keep looking. If I find it, I will add it in a link at the bottom underneath this video. There is on the CBT USB stick, there is a crosshair, a 4x4 crosshair. And so I'm assuming that we make it out of that. But I couldn't find it, and I really did try. So I will keep looking, and but right now I just wanted to get started, since hubby's not home and it's quiet, and I can actually get started on this project. One other thing that you'll need is double-sided tape. I haven't started yet. Remember, I have not done this before. I'm a total newbie to the CBTs, but I heard that you want invisible tape, so I got some. So it's going to get loud here now, so I'm going to go ahead and do the rest in photos and videos as I can. But let's go ahead and get started on our Clear Blue Tiles Table Runner quilting. Okay, start by cutting your batting. I'm using Kimberbell project batting. And I cut that to about 1 inch over the size of my table runner on all 4 sides. So just lay down your table runner and cut your batting 1 inch larger on all sides, about 1 inch. That's the first step. If you have spray, you can put spray underneath the table runner to hold it. The batting is actually holding it really well, but that's certainly an option. I don't have spray, so we'll see. And then we're gonna do our back fabric. Okay, so you know what I did? I used my glue stick, and I attached all 3 layers. So I now have my quilt sandwich. So I want to point out, you want to lay down your back fabric right side down, and then put your batting and then your top layer, your quilt top. So you have all 3 layers hopefully stuck together a little bit. I just used a tiny bit of my glue stick. You can use basting spray, or just hope that your batting will hold on. or pins or whatever works for you. So anyway, now we have our quilt sandwich and we are ready to start marking our quilt top. Okay, now it's time to mark our quilt top. So like I said, get out the quilt blocks that you're going to use. And did you see how many there are? Oh my gosh. Like every size that you can imagine inside the essentials kit, and then there's a whole ton more in the expansion set. So really any size that you're going to need, you've got them. You're going to be all good on the clear blue tiles. So very exciting. Get out one of your marking pens from the kit. Make sure it's that water soluble pen in your kit. And we're going to go ahead and start marking them, and I'll show you how. All right, and like I said, I'm doing different ones for the houses, the trees, the blank tree size and the blank house size, and then the bitty blocks. And I haven't decided on the borders yet. I looked through all the ones that I have and all the ones on the Kimberbell website, and the one I want is Borders 2. I think that one would be really cute. Or Borders 1. I think it was, yeah, Christmas Border 1. So it's the one that has Christmas tree lights, and then that's for the wider part of the border. But then for the thinner part of the border, it's this really cool, I don't know what you'd call it, but it goes like this. And I think that one would be a fun one for the sides, for our borders. But there's so many. So there's that cute wind one, the new wind one that is coming out for spring showers. There's 2 that are on the USB sticks, so we could certainly use those. So many options. How lucky are we? Okay, my shirt today is a cute little snowman from Designs by Juju. I will add a link to which set that it was in, and the shirt is from Fred Meyer from at least a year ago. So my little stick to move my camera easily broke, but let's see. Okay, so we are going to pick a tile, and like Kim says in her videos, we're going to use it like a stamp. So we're going to put it on the block that we want to mark for that tile, for that design. We're just going to put it on there, and then you use your water soluble pen, and you start by marking the center. There's a little center dot there, and we mark that, and then you mark all the way up, all the way down. I think that you can actually do just a little bit. You don't have to do the whole line, but you do want to have this arrow one so that you know where the top is. And then the side crosshairs, maybe it's called. And then you want, wherever there is one of these little lines that you can see on your tiles, you want to mark there. And the reason for that is so that you know where the next tile is going to go. And an important part is you're going to mark in this little box, you're going to write 4x4 or whichever size tile that you're using. I actually don't need to do that because for one thing, it's going on a dark fabric and I'm not going to see it, I don't think. And the other thing is that this table runner is so nicely put together that we really know these are all 4x4s, these are 2x4s. It's actually pretty easy to know, but good to know for the future that you mark all the little marks. There's little marks on the tile that show where you want to mark your fabric or your quilt top. All right, and just make sure that you can actually see that, especially that center mark. I think that's probably going to be the most important one. And then you can see, oh, that looks so good. Here, let me see if I can get this closer for you. All right, so we've got our center mark. We have our crosshairs, and around the tile, I did write 4x4 in here, but like I said, you can't see it on this dark blue fabric. So, and we really don't need to know because we know that they're 4x4 and 4x2. So easy to do, but look how easy that is. So what you could do if you wanted to, hold on. So what you could do is you could mark one, bring it to the machine, do that. You could do all of the houses first. You could do just the trees, you know, whatever, however you want to do. Or probably the most productive way would be to mark your whole quilt with all of the different tiles that you're going to use and the sizes, so that you know which one goes with what, and your borders and everything. So if you mark it all up first, I think that's probably the most productive, because then you just bring it to the machine and you're going to have those designs loaded on your USB and start quilting with clear blue tiles. All right, so for now I'm doing all my houses with 4x4 and marking them up so that I know exactly where the center is and where the quilting is going to go and which size tile and so on. So getting there. Okay, so once you have your quilt all marked up, it is time for the fun stuff. Okay, I'm back. So we are going to continue with our clear blue tiles. So as I mentioned, you are going to piece it all together, have 1 inch extra of your batting all the way around, 3 inches extra of your back fabric all the way around, and mark up your tiles. So we're going to mark every single tile. You can do it one by one, but it's just more productive if you want to do the whole thing. So this, like I said, I'm going to do custom quilting. So I'm going to do each box. You can, like I said, do the whole thing. You would just measure out the table runner and do hoop, 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 hoop. I hope that makes sense. So a couple things before we actually do the tiles. Like I said, you're going to want your grid. If you don't have a grid, Kimberbell has a tutorial, and I did find it, and I will link to it under this video. And it's basically, you would use that 4x4 grid that is on your USB stick in the essential set. You would use that and stitch that out on your mesh stabilizer so that you can see through it, and right on the top of the design top, and then also you would, in the hoop, draw around. So say that you've got your stabilizer in there, you would draw with a pencil or a pen or whatever all the way around and write top at the top, and stitch out that grid, and that works as your stabilizer or as your grid, as a temporary grid. So you would just cut that out and use that inside of your hoop if you don't have the plastic grid. If you have the plastic grid, find that easiest way to do it. So one thing I did learn, thanks to Kim's tutorial, is that there is this little notch at the top of your brother or baby lock hoops. It's probably on all manufacturers, I'm not sure. I never knew that. I never knew that there's a little arrow up at the top, and that is the top. You want to line this up. It works both ways. But believe me, if you don't line up this arrow with this arrow, it's on the bottom and the top, then it can be off by quite a bit. I made a birthday card the other day in the hoop, and I lined it all up, and for the first time ever, I used my grid and just to make sure I was in the center point and it was all lined up and everything was perfect, and it was off by a lot, like probably almost an inch. And I was really shocked. I'm like, what on earth happened? And after seeing Kim's tutorial, I realized that these little arrows up at the top matter. Not just this notch. I use that notch all the time, but there's this little arrow up at the top. I don't know if you can see it. But anyway, that makes a difference. So we're going to make sure to have that right. The other thing is you want double-sided tape. I'm using regular Scotch 3M double-sided tape. And we're going to put that just on the bottom and the top and the sides of the top of our hoop. So underneath of the top part of our hoop. So bottom of the hoop, top of the hoop, put double-sided tape, and that will just make it easier for when we're lining it up on the fabric, and I'll show you in just a minute. So it's time, we're gonna finally get started and get these clear blue tiles actually on our quilt. So let's do it. Okay, I have my grid and my tape on the back of my hoop. You probably can't see that because it's clear. We are gonna start from the center of our table runner. So I'm just going to pick this house here, and keep in mind I haven't done this yet either, so this is a first. But you can see on the center of your grid and the center that we did in our water soluble pen, our Kimberbell pen, and I'm getting a message. All right, so right there we're going to line this up, and since we have that the tape, it's going to help to just kind of hold it there while we get our hoop underneath. All right, so we've got this all lined up, the crosshairs and the center mark, right, and we're making sure to use the top of our hoop to line it up right with the bottom of our hoop, and then we're gonna slide the bottom hoop underneath, trying to not help it to move too much. And Kim says this will get easier as we do this more often. This is my very first time. So, all right, so you just finagle it around until it's right, and make sure that that center mark and the crosshair stays exactly right. All right, and then once you get it, you're gonna tighten those that bottom screw. All right, and then we have our first house hooped. So you can see, the center mark and the crosshairs and the grid. So this is all lined up really well, especially for a first time. So then we will remove this grid, and we're all ready to do our first house, and we'll take this to the machine, have the designs that we've chosen on our USB stick, and we're going to do the first one, and it should go exactly where our crosshair mark is. So let's go ahead and do this. Are you nervous? But look, it looks so cool. I think once we get the hooping on and off a few times and get some practice at it, that lining it up will make it easier. But so far, great. All right, let's check it out. And on a side note, today's shirt, I think it's Jazzy Zebra Designs, but I will check. It's a cute polar bear on a 3-tone shirt from Amazon. I'll add a link, and I added lots of bling on the scarf, so pretty fun. Okay, load your USB stick with the designs that you've chosen. So get those loaded and load your first design. For me, it's the house 4x4, because that's basically at the center of our design. All right, and then you want to check and make sure that your needle is at that center point. I want to make sure that's pretty important. So if we lined it all up right, we should be right at the crosshair and right at that center mark. I'm going to use white thread, depending on your fabric kit. I've got the winter fabric kit, and mine's a lot of light blues and darker blues and some gray, and so I'm going to use white. And then for my plain border blocks, I think I'm going to use a navy so that the quilting stands out more on those plain blocks. For the ones with all of the colors, I think white will do nicely. Okay, so once you know that it is at that center mark, you can also use the buttons on your machine like I usually do on our quilts. Lay that down there for a second here. And then the right and left button will show that you're right on the crosshairs. You can see that your crosshair that you drew using your clear blue tiles were now centered exactly right. And same with the top and the bottom. It's going straight down that line that we drew on our clear blue tiles. So our clear blue tiles helped us to get it centered exactly right. Okay, and it's all done. And seriously, could that be lined up any better? It's perfect, absolutely perfect. So notice I used my clear blue tile slap bands on both so that I can have just the block showing and nothing getting in the way. So now that we have the first one done, we would just unhoop this and move it to the next block that we're going to work on. Did you do it? Did you do your first block? All right, so let's give you another visual on how we did this. We're going to just start by taking this one out of the hoop, taking off the slap bands. Actually, we don't have to take off the slap bands because we're just going to move it up a little bit. So we still have that tape on the back of our front of our hoop. The back of the top of our hoop, how confusing is that? This is the top, and we have the little tape pieces on the back. So we're taking out the back, and we're just going to go ahead and line up the top hoop with the next block. Okay, so we did this first house. I'm going to move up and do this next one that's also in the middle. And again, I'm just going to keep that tape on there, and I'm going to use my grid. And with that grid, I'm going to find my center point that I've already got marked on my fabric. And I'm going to put the center of the grid into that little mark that I made and make sure everything's lined up. So right there, it's all lined up just right. Give it a little push. I wonder if they make double-sided tape in like electrical tape or something that would be stronger. I think I would do that next time because this doesn't hold very well. All right, and then you just slide the bottom of your hoop under and feel around a little bit to get it in the right spot. And you can tell if it's not in the right spot, you can tell right away on your fabric. So you're going to move either the bottom of your hoop or your fabric a little bit until you've got it just right. Feels a little like a guessing game at first, in all honesty, because you can't see that hoop on the bottom. So this is just a little bit too high, so I'm going to take the top off and do it again. Move the bottom hoop down just a bit. Ooh, there we go. Ooh, that's perfect. All right, and then you just push the hoop down in. Make sure that your grid is just right. This is all lined up beautifully, and then tighten those screws before you move anything. Well, the second one was already easier than the first, so that's a good sign. Now I should show you with the grid on. All right, and if you can see that, it's lined up with the crosshairs and with the center point and with the grid, the plastic grid. All right, so then we're going to take that plastic grid off, put our slap bands back on if you want, just to make sure that the excess material doesn't get in the way. And we're ready for our second hooping. So each one of these, the first one took 2 minutes, and that's I think the biggest one. It was a 4x4. We have the borders to do, of course, but it's a very quick process. All right, let's go ahead and bring it to the machine and do the second one. Okay, so for the second hooping, from the grid it looked exactly right, but when I'm looking at it and I put my needle or my foot down, it looks like I could go over one tiny little dot, and like that's really not going to matter, but It's so easy to do. I'm just going to go to edit move on my machine, and using those buttons, let's see if I can do a little bit more. Using these buttons, I can just move my needle over 2 little spots, and then it's exactly right. So those clear blue tiles made it so that I can line it up, make a crosshair in the center point and all that. And then I can, if it's not exactly where I think it should be, I can use the buttons on my machine to move the foot over just a tad before it starts. And then it's right center in the middle, and I can check it up, down, and just make sure it matches with that crosshair that we drew. So it's all perfect. I'm going to go ahead and change my thread. On this one, like I said, I'm going to do the trees, which is not part of the designs that's in our clear blue tiles. But several of us bought this one when we did Candy Cane Lane a few weeks ago. So if you have some designs that you've already purchased from Kimberbell, you can use them on this project also. Don't forget that we got the clear blue tile designs along with every purchase. So you can go back and re-download and get the CBT files. So the Christmas trees we did block by block, but we also have the clear blue tiles in that same folder. So I'm going to use it on this project. Oh gosh, that's cute. All right, look at the Christmas trees. I want to point out, do you see how that is exactly within the block, the exact size of the block? Look at how perfectly that's centered in. The CBTs having the crosshair in the center and being able to check it makes it just so easy, so perfect. It fits in that block exactly right. How fun is this? Are you loving it so far? All right, let's test another one. All right, so we're going to take it out of the hoop. So if you have a magnetic hoop, oh boy, I think this probably makes your life a lot easier if you have a magnetic hoop. Just saying. All right, so you take the bottom part out, set that aside for now, and then choose your next block. I'm going to move on to the next. Since I've already got my Christmas trees loaded, I'm going to do the Christmas trees on the next blank block. So again, let me see if I can move this down a bit. All right, so again, you are going to put your grid in your hoop. Make sure that you've got that little top arrow that shows that the top of your hoop. All right, and then center it with that center mark and the crosshairs. Just get that exactly where you want it to be. Kind of press it down a little bit so that that tape will adhere a little bit. All right, and then slide the bottom hoop under. Make sure that that screw is opened up a lot. And then you're going to just feel around while keeping that in place and get it. Wow, did we really get it on our first try? Look at that. Whoops, pops right out. You do want it opened up a lot because you're going through bulk, right? You've got your 3 layers. Your whole quilt sandwich is going in here, and mine wants to keep popping out. So I am going to move it just a bit and open it even more. I don't really know much about the magnetic hoops, in all honesty, but I can see that it would make the process easier. Oh yeah, so I just opened up my screw and that made it a lot easier. All right, and then once you've got it in there, tighten up that bottom screw. Okay, so interesting tip. Don't unscrew it so much that you unscrew this little piece here of mine fell out, and I had to figure out what I did and how to put it back. So don't unscrew it so much. If you unscrew it all the way, then this little piece here comes out. You have to unscrew it quite a bit for that to happen, so I'm surprised that I did that. But anyway, that's my tip of the day. Don't break your hoop. So it's this little piece here. It popped right out. So just don't unscrew it so much that it pops out. All right. Okay, our friend Lynn Geldmeyer, we love you, Lynn. She sent a little tip and she said that she uses duct tape. Instead of regular double-sided tape, she uses duct tape. So I'm going to give that a try. I'm using this, it's regular tape, 3M. A bunch of us used it for our fairy lights in Candy Cane Lane. It's 3M. It's regular duct tape, I believe. It looks like electrical tape, but it's regular, says number 1200 series Pro Strength silver duct tape. All right, so I have put that on the back. See if that helps make it a little easier. Don't forget to make sure that you've got the little arrow at the top and your grid lined the right way. All right, and then right over the top, exactly where you want it, press it down a bit for that tape to hold on, and then you get your bottom piece and put it under your hoop. All right, so look, Lynn's idea of the stronger tape does help hold a little bit better than the regular double-sided tape. You can move it around a little easier, so that's nice. And then lining it up should be a little bit easier. Do I have my hoop open? And then just push it into place, keeping it where you want it to be, and lock it down. Okay, one tip. Mine loves to pop out after I've already gotten it in. It's pretty frustrating. So what I found is if I lift it after I've got it in and before I fully tightened it, I hold it up and I push the top of the hoop down into the bottom of the hoop even further and then tighten it up. And that seems to help hold it in because for some reason it loves to pop out. And then you kind of start the process all over. But if you get it in really well and push it all the way down, because remember, we're going through bulk, and if you've got thicker than the project batting, you're going to have an even harder time. This project batting is thin, and it's like the exact right loft for this project and for our hoops especially. That's the big thing, is for our hoops. So we are doing an in the hoop project, and we want it to stay in the hoop. All right, so then look at that, lined up just right, center, crosshairs, and we're all ready to go. So how's it going? Are you getting the hang of it yet? It takes a little practice, definitely. So it's pretty fun to see it coming together though. It's really so precise. That's the best thing about them, I would say. And the fact that you get extra quilting designs, but they're so precise and they're very quick projects. The hooping is the only thing that I need to get the hang of, but that lifting it up and pushing it in a little further seems to really be the ticket for me anyway. So I'm curious, how's it going for you? Do you like them yet? All right, I want to point something out. So on these darker fabrics with that blue pen, you really can't see my center mark. You can see on the light gray, on the dark, it's pretty hard to see the center mark. And this is why it's really important to not only do the center mark, but to do all of those, because see, I can see in between, I can see the crosshairs really well. I can't see the center mark perfectly, but I can see the other parts. So just make sure that you're filling in all the parts on the CBT tiles, so that you can utilize it with whatever fabrics you're using. So I would say that the game changer tips for me are lifting up the hoop to push it in further before tightening it, and then Lynn's suggestion of the duct tape instead of regular double-sided tape, that definitely holds a lot better in my opinion. And there was one other, oh, using the buttons on your machine to make sure that the placement is just right. Those are the parts that I think have made it a lot easier. I use these buttons on my machine to check the center placement, the top and bottom, and left and right, and that's working really well for me. Are you hooked yet? Look at these. Oh my gosh. So perfect. I can't believe every single one I've done. I think I've done 5 so far. And every single one of them, they're exactly centered in the hoop and taking up every bit of the hoop space. Very impressed with these so far. Look at that. Every single one is centered exactly in the box. Thanks to the CBTs showing me exactly where the center is and then the crosshairs. Yeah, every single one has just been perfect. I'm loving this. This is like a perfectionist's dream come true. So the biggest block on this project is a 4x4, not counting the borders. 4x4 for the house, that's the biggest block. So I'm using my 5x7 hoop on all of them. Using a bigger hoop is not going to make a difference. You're still going to center it in the middle of your hoop, so it doesn't matter what size hoop you use. All right, all my house blocks and house size blank blocks are done. So all I have left are the trees and the tree size blank blocks. I am going to do my tree quilting in a light gray so that it'll stand out from the white fabric that I have. So depending on your fabric, you choose your thread colors for your quilting. I'm going to use this light gray. So I've chosen these loops for my trees, and if you recall, I mentioned that I want it turned the opposite way though. I want it to go around the tree kind of like lights instead of upside down like this. So I'm going to do this very easily by just changing the direction. So I'm going to my edit button. You could also do this in software very easily. I'm trying to see around my camera, rotate. 90 degrees, 90 degrees again, and there we have it. So easy peasy. Okay, once all the main blocks are done, then it's time to do the borders. And I want to show you a couple of things here. So I used the 2x12 like I showed you when I was marking my project. And I did this swirl design. If I had thought that I was going to get close, if my foot was going to get close to this at all, then it's a really good idea to tape it down so that your presser foot wouldn't stick on it and pull. But I can tell easily from using the buttons on my machine where exactly that it's going to stitch. And I was already marked for using the clear blue tiles, so it was really easy to know that it was not going to go toward the edge, and I just watched it. So this worked really well, very easy. I used my 8x12 hoop, and as you can see, I did it right in the center. You could easily, using the guide, you could not use the center and instead use like this line and center it that way, and then just move it using the buttons on your machine. But I just did this and it worked totally fine because it's stabilized enough with the batting and the back fabric. So this worked well. And I have one more hoop because I'm doing 2x12. There's 2 of them for the 24-inch long table runner. All right, one other thing I want to show you about doing the borders. So you can see I'm centered right on my crosshairs, right at the center for starting. And then I can use the buttons over here on my machine to see how close it is to the other one and to the other one that I just did, the other border. And you can see here, there's plenty of room, and they don't connect. So the borders are, for the clear blue tile borders, they are standalone designs. It stops here, and so it doesn't need to connect or anything like that, or anything that would make it difficult. It's its own design, and so it's going to start here near the end of the first one, and then when I click this button here, then I can see where it's going to end. And look at that, right before my corner. How perfect is that? So the clear blue tiles makes it so that you can easily set it up to the exact location, the exact center, everything that you need, and then you can use the buttons on your machine to check it, even though you really don't need to because you've set it up so perfectly. But anyway, this is the second part of the border, top border, and then I have the 2 bottom borders and the 4 corners left to do. Okay, both border blocks, or borders, are done. I have the 2 side borders still to do, and then the bitty blocks. So just a reminder, as I mentioned earlier, I used the 2x12 for 2 of the 2x12s for my borders. The upper and bottom borders are 24 inches long, so you could do 3 of 8 inches or 4 of 6 inches or whatever works for you. All right, I want to point out something interesting for the side borders. So I used the border swirls for the top and bottom of my borders, but now I've gotten to the sides, and the side measures 2x8. So you can see this here. All right, a 2x8. But the borders only come in 2x7 or 2x10 or other sizes, but not a 2x8. So to use the border, if you wanted the same swirl, you could use a 2x7 and then just have a little bit of space above and below. Nobody's going to notice. Or you can do what I'm going to do, and I'm going to use this 2x8, which is actually meant for the designs, not the borders. And the 2x8, I'm going to use the winter. And if you look at it on embroidery software, it looks a lot like the border swirls. It just has a few snowflakes in it along with it. So that's what I'm going to do on my 2 sides. The other option is you could easily do, no, actually you can't. I was going to say you could do a 2x4 twice, but you can't because the smallest for the border is 2x7. So it's totally up to you what you decide to do. I'm going to do the 2x8 in winter, which is the same thing I used on my houses. And it looks a lot like the border swirl. It just also has some pretty little snowflakes in it. So that's what I'm going to do. And again, we've already marked it. Actually, you'll have to look and see how you marked yours, if you marked it for a 2x7 or a 2x8. So, by the way, one other option, if you don't want to use the 2x8 winter file like I'm going to do, like I said, you can do the 2x7 and just have a little bit of space on each, or you can do 2x12 and not use the bitty blocks. You could do a 2x12 all right here of the border swirls or border loops or any border that you have from Kimberbell. That there's lots of borders, cute ones. I'm going to use the 2x8 winter because I want to do the bitty blocks in the corners. I think those will be really cute. So anyway, your project, do it your way, and let me know how it goes. Okay, the last thing are the 4 corners. I'm using the bitty blocks, the cute little winter mittens. And you can see, thanks to the clear blue tiles, my block is lined up exactly right. Beautifully done. Very excited. And it's all done. The cute little bitty blocks. Can't see them very well because of the blue marker, but once we get this all cleaned up, oh boy, it's cute. It was a lot of hoopings. It's not a quick thing. It is pretty quick because the embroidery the quilting takes, a couple minutes here, a couple minutes there. But if you do custom, it's a lot of hoopings for sure. And look at how cool the back is. Traditional quilting. Isn't that beautiful? This is my first time doing something like this, so I think it was very cool, very fun. I look forward to seeing yours. Okay, once you have your table runner all quilted, then it's time to do the binding. So with the binding, a lot of people like to do them by hand, and go for it. I don't, I do it by machine. If you're doing it by machine, you're going to start from the back and flip it over, and I will go over that in photos. And some people do 2 1/4. I'm doing 2 1/2. I don't recall what was in the directions, but I'll look and check on that. But either way, I like to do a 2 1/2 inch binding. So your project, your way, and we're on the last step. One of the very last things is we need to get all of the blue marker off. So I'm just going to spritz it with water after I'm done with the binding. Well, guys, it's done. Yay. I love it. It came out great. I'm very, very happy with it. The CBT, it took a little getting used to, but as soon as you get the hang of it, they're really easy. I think the worst part actually was my fingers are sore from screwing in the hoops over and over again. That was it. This was a really fun project, really easy to do. Took a little bit of time, but not bad at all. And oh, so cute. And my girlfriend's Quilt Shop did such a great job making the fabric kit for us. I really like this. This is fun. So the last bit is to use a spray bottle and to get all the blue water or the blue markings out. And that was super easy. Like I barely even spritzed it and they came out right away. I had heard that some people had trouble, and so I'm really surprised. I mean, this was really easy. It came out of the white trees, one little spritz of water, no problem at all. So it's all bound, it's all done. The backing is all traditional quilting, and I love it. I really love it. I'm glad that I chose the Christmas trees for the blank blocks. I think that that's really cute, and I did a mixture of the navy and white and light gray thread for the quilting. And like I said, I did the 2x8 on the side, so mine is winter, and then the tops are the swirl border, so tops and bottom. So it's great. So here's the deal. I can't wait to see yours. So let me know when you've got yours done. Share a photo in our group. Let me know on YouTube how you like the tutorials. Always subscribe and comment to help out the channel. And I have something up my sleeve for next. So that'll be really fun. I'm really excited about it.